And welcome to the United States Handball Association National Masters Championship, being held at the Athletic Club at Waycross in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is the 2005 version. The match you will be watching is the 50-plus singles. The opponents today are Roger Berry on the left. Roger's from Rockville, Maryland. Danny Carillo is on the right. Danny plays out of San Bernardino, California. So we've had players from all over the country here this weekend. Been here since Thursday. Today's now Sunday, so this is the fourth day that players have been playing. Quite a crowd here on a Sunday morning. Watch some great handball. We anticipate a little bit of a contrast in styles here between these two guys. Roger Berry is more of a defensive, patient player, waiting for a decent shot. Danny Carillo, on the other hand, he's a shooter. He goes for anything and everything. He'll shoot from any part of the court and almost any time. Danny serving the first game. 0-0. And the side out. Roger hits that corner kill shot.
There I think you see how Danny, left-handed, he used his right hand and brought the ball right to the middle of the court, and Roger was able to take advantage of that.
And that's a point for Roger Berry.
Point.
You can see by our camera angles that the back walls are glass here. That presents quite a challenge for the players. Very difficult to pick up the ball coming off the glass back wall. And that will actually change the course of a couple of volleys.
Side out.
I think we've seen a little bit of that already with several missed shots off the back wall, including Roger's shot just there.
0 serving 2.
Here's Roger. Probably a little crossed up on that back corner.
Both players seem to be playing a little bit tentatively so far.
First serve.
Just feeling each other out. It's early in the match.
Point.
They don't get to play each other a lot, but I'm sure that they've seen each other in national tournaments.
Serving 2.
Danny serving 1-2. Again, he shoots from anywhere on the court. 39 feet. He went for the kill shot and made it.
2 serving 2.
That's not always a high percentage shot. Shooting with Roger right there in front of him. But again, Danny goes for everything. That shot, last shot with his right hand being another example.
2 serving 2.
A lot of times in these matches, you'll see a lot of ceiling shots. It's a defensive shot, trying to give yourself an opportunity to get into that center court offensive shot position. Of course, the other guy is doing the exact same thing, so you'll see a number of ceiling shot, ceiling shot, ceiling shot. But Carillo doesn't hit as many as most people.
So Jim, what do you think so far? It seems to be the plays more Roger style of constantly kind of driving the ball and not a lot of shooting.
3 serving 2.
I think Roger's kind of in control of the pace of this game at this point.
Foot fault.
There's a foot fault. Server must stay inside those 2 red lines when they're serving. Even go over a little bit. That's a foot fault.
No. Point.
You do get 2 serves in handball.
4 serving 2.
You have 1 you can kind of waste. So a lot of times people go for the hard drive serve. Try to get an ace like that one on the first serve, and then on the second serve they'll do something a little bit more conservative, a little safer.
5 serving 2.
And there's again, Roger actually was trying to cross up his opponent with Carillo expecting the ball being served to his right, and then Roger driving it to the left. Of course, the serve has to be within the the box, basically 20 feet from the front wall, and hit the floor before the back wall to count.
Side out.
And there's Danny Carillo drives a left-handed fish shot. And his left hand is his offhand. That's his weakness. So you can imagine the power he can generate off his right hand.
Side out.
The side out.
5 serving 2.
Barry does have a lead this first game. Inches out. They're still getting used to each other, getting used to the court a little bit, though.
Side out.
Anytime Danny gets an opportunity, he's going to go for a kill shot. Typically side wall, front wall, and as close to the corner as you can possibly get. That's the one that's hardest to return. See, he goes for it again. But Roger manages to dig out a pretty good kill shot.
That's always been Roger's forte, to actually retrieve the ball and maybe re-kill. Makes him pay for actually shooting a little too soon.
Football.
Again, Roger called for a foot fault, just like a short serve.
So he has one more serve coming, and it must come within, again, that box, 20 foot from the front wall and before hitting the back wall, and not foot fault again.
Point.
That was a very strong serve.
Especially for a second serve. High enough that it would be safe, but he went for the crack, and he got a little help from the crack. Kept it right on that wall, and Danny couldn't return it. Danny goes to the ceiling this time. Moves up again. Attempts the kill shot. Doesn't make it quite. He's got a back wall set up. And attempts another one. Not quite good enough. Roger is what we call a digger.
And he made Danny pay in two ways. That volley, he both, not only did he win the volley, but he also kept the volley going long enough. Roger's always been in extraordinary condition. And again, the pace of this game so far, I think, definitely is in favor of Roger.
That was okay, Danny. Point. 8-2. Point.
Oh, Roger went for a side wall, front wall, and that was a wonderful shot.
Very high percentage, though, because he was in the front and basically had control of the front court.
He knew Danny was behind him. And even with Danny's speed, you can't catch up to a ball like that.
Second serve.
Once again, Roger on his first serve shorted it. Similar to the foot fault, he only get two.
Slide out.
Tried to punch it back, but didn't quite make it.
2, serving 9. Point.
Interchange of kill shots there, and Danny got the best of that volley.
3, serving 9. Short. Foot fault. Foot fault.
Danny gets called for foot fault. Goes to a defensive 3-wall serve, wrap serve. Roger's got a shot. Here again.
He's lining this up, but
didn't have quite as much room in the back as he would have liked, and I think it cost him that shot.
9, serving 3.
At this point, 9-3 with Roger in the lead. Roger again, a very steady player.
You'll notice that Danny is going for a lot of shots that most people would try to make defensive shots.
Timeout.
Especially
First
that.
timeout, Dan. 1 minute.
Carillo called a timeout, so we've got a minute break here. I'd like to just give you a little background here. We are at the Athletic Club at Waycross in Cincinnati, Ohio. This is the United States Handball Association, second largest four-ball tournament in the country. Players from all over the country. We've had 136 players be in. And there are other matches going around the courts. We've got one match going on next door with a local player, John Allens, playing in the 40s against Alan Frank, also from the Maryland area, I believe.
Yeah, Alan actually plays quite often with Roger. Although Roger now, I think, is splitting his time between Maryland.
All right, we're back to play. Roger Berry's got the serve. Again, Danny Carillo goes for the kill shot. This time he makes it.
Again, it's not considered the highest percentage shot with Roger standing right at the short line. But
Point.
once again, Danny takes a somewhat unorthodox shot, but gets the point out of it.
Gets it to work. Roger wasn't even sure that that ball was good, but it was obviously from our vantage point very good.
Of course, the object of the game is to have the ball bounce twice before the opponent can get it. So a lot of times hitting it very low is the best shot. And sometimes when you hit it so low, it's hard to tell whether to hit the front wall or the floor first, the floor being a bad shot.
Roger's consistently serving to Danny's right. Trying to keep the ball on the wall. Here Carillo goes for another kill shot.
4 serving 10.
And he's going to make this one. A left-handed fist, underhand.
Point.
Seems Danny's starting to get more into sync. Seems like he's starting to make his shots and finishing the volley sooner so he doesn't get into a kind of more of a slugfest with Roger. What do you think, Jim?
I think you're right,
5
Jack.
serving 10.
It's kind of hard to tell on the camera shots, but both of these guys have great hops, but especially Carillo. He can hop the ball either left or right with both hands. Gives him a number of offensive weapons.
10
I
serving
know that
5.
because I was a victim of Danny Carillo a couple of days ago.
No, short.
And that's a point for Roger.
11 serving 5.
It's now 11 serving 5. Roger's still got a comfortable lead. Still don't think Danny's getting all of the offensive opportunities that he would like. He's forcing some shots that probably shouldn't. But that's his game.
Well, there you saw it a second ago where Danny did do the hop that you had mentioned, and he hopped the ball directly back to Roger. So even though he actually made a shot that will cause a lot of players trouble, it actually benefited Roger by bringing it right back to him.
And we're volleying back and forth. Both of them staying in that front court position. Nobody content to go to the back court. And it's a timeout.
I think you'll find, though, that kind of volleying is, in the long run, going to benefit Rogers more so than Danny. You can see Danny already is looking like he wants to make sure that he's able to catch his breath after some volleys like that.
Charlie Wicker, Tom Kesson report to the first floor for award presentation and picture taking.
Again, these volleys are going on for quite a while, not like in the early part of the game where it was pretty much a serve and shoot. Players are back and forth. Volleys are getting longer.
And Danny's starting to make his shots. I think we could be in for something of a comeback here. Danny's also, as mentioned before, he seems to be taking his time.
Serving 11. Side out.
Wasn't a particularly effective serve, kind of 3 feet away from the wall. Lots of opportunity to
11
come back.
serving 6.
Roger gets set up, and he did.
Yeah, Roger likes to use the drives down the wall. I think he figures that if he doesn't make the point on it, at least he's going to make his opponent run all the time.
A lot of people would have let
Side
that
out.
ball go to the back wall and play it off there. Danny cuts it off, drives it low and right. That's a very difficult shot. He's got almost no time to get set up. That's how quick his feet are.
I believe that's the second and maybe third time Danny's made that shot, though.
6 serving 11.
He's got confidence in it. Not, like you said before, not the highest percentage handball, but it's what you call personal percentage. If you can make it work for you, it becomes high percentage. The ceiling defensive shot that puts Roger in a very bad corner. That glass in the back, it's tough to play.
That was a very tough shot. Not only was it back in the corner, it was pretty close to the wall, and of course to Roger's offhand, his
7
left hand.
serving 11.
Danny just comes under the ball with a fist and punches it to the ceiling. Makes that into a winner. Ceiling shot's typically a defensive shot. There's a back wall set up. Oh, and Danny gets hit with the ball. That happens sometimes. It's a replay in handball. Point starts over. 2 serves to whoever is in the service box.
It seemed like Roger had a lot of court there to hit, other than where he went with it.
7-11.
The whole left side of the court was open. What did you think?
I didn't expect that to hit Danny, that's for sure.
Particularly with the back wall shot. Back wall shots are usually one of the easier shots to execute. Although, as you mentioned before, the glass makes it a little more difficult on this particular court.
Eight serving 11.
Again, Carillo stays in the front court. He could have easily let that ball go to the back wall and gone back. Chose to cut it off.
Point.
Roger dives, trying to get to the ball, but can't quite make it. And dry off the court. One shot to look for from Carillo is he's got a very unique underhand whip. It's kind of unique to either California or Ireland for some reason. In Ireland they call it the Irish rip, but a lot of the California players do it. They actually come under and behind the ball rather than the typical setup, which is more of a sidearm motion. And they use it as a kill shot. They don't use it just for defense. They use it for a lot of things.
It's always been able to generate quite a bit of power. It's just kind of unorthodox for most United States players who are used to swinging at the ball more like in a baseball-style swing.
Right.
But at this point, it looks like we've got a game here. Earlier on, Roger was up pretty handily at a 10-3, and now I think it's 9-11.
Okay, don't worry about it. I'll get another one.
This is one of our rack camera operators, 2 of them.
Okay, time is in.
Waycross Community Media is providing this coverage for it.
Short ball.
And it's much appreciated. They're doing a great job. Camera shots, directing.
Second serve.
It is now 9-11.
Point.
There's an unorthodox shot. Sort of a sidearm wraparound shot. Again, not a lot of people hit that shot.
10 serving 11.
So Roger's seeing some shots he doesn't usually see.
That was a very smart shot. He took all the pace off of the ball and kind of dropped it in the right corner. It's how many of these shots did you see in your match, Jim?
I saw a lot of them. Probably about 6
11.
or 7 like that.
Point.
Now that was not exactly the highest percentage shot I've seen today, but again, he's making it work for him, and he's now taking.
Timeout, Roger Berry.
Surprisingly, he's now tied the game up with
12, serving
11. He's taken the lead, and he's had made
First
Roger
serve.
call a timeout, which you wouldn't expect with the kind of conditioning that Roger's usually in. And
Change.
it leaked earlier that Danny was actually the one who was trying to slow down the game a little bit.
Well, Roger is in great shape, always has been. Very disciplined player. The only thing about playing somebody like Carillo is he never gets a break. Every shot from Carillo is, just about every shot is going to be a kill shot. Always punishing the ball. There's never any time to catch your breath inside of a rally.
No, that's one of the effects of cutting that ball off like Danny has been doing so far. You never really get a chance to lay back and expect to maybe get a ceiling game going.
And you can see the players are taking time to change some of their wet clothing. It's mandatory if your gloves get wet that they need to be changed. The referee's job is to keep an eye on that and make sure that doesn't happen. If the gloves get wet, then the ball tends to get wet and the ball will skid. Sort of like trying to hit a super ball. And the ball's flying fast enough as it is without a little moisture on it. So they make the players change gloves. Same with shirts.
You noticed earlier that when Roger dove on the floor, Danny asked that the floor be wiped up for the same reason. If the ball sometimes hits the floor and it totally changes basically its speed, sometimes its direction.
A little lull in the action. There's some action from next door. That's actually John Allen from Cincinnati is playing Alan Frank. You see a little different style going on here than you're seeing in the other match. You can probably tell how difficult it is that hitting off of that glass.
If you notice, she does this all the time. Pumps them up. She's got a little thing that jacks them up.
Alan's been pretty successful in the seniors and masters tournaments for the last 10 years. And I think playing with Roger actually has helped him.
Over there. He's got it. He's got it. Score. 14-4.
And I think some of that training's showing through. Allen apparently is up 14-4 in this game.
We're back on court number 2 for the Roger Berry Danny Carillo match. Again, players suiting up, getting out of the wet clothing into dry clothing. Carillo has a slight lead, 12-11, after being down most of this first game. So he's made a comeback. He's got the serve. And it looks like we're about ready to go.
And once again, it seems like the pace of the game and the momentum has shifted completely over to Danny's style, and that's why Roger
Danny serving 12, serving 11.
See if the timeout had its desired effect.
Well, and Roger's got to be concerned that actually may have actually given Danny a second wind.
Well, these guys are in great condition, so you get 3 timeouts a game. Quite often they use them, and quite often they're more for psychological or competitive reasons.
I don't think it made it either. I think it was short. Yeah.
There's a little bit of question about that last ball. Let's see if we can see it in the replay, if it actually made it or not.
13-11.
From the camera angle, it looked like it did not make it. Sometimes Those balls are hard to call, though, if you don't let it bounce a couple more times and see which spin it has on it. It's an odd thing where actually when the ball hits the floor first, it'll come with a backspin on it.
14-11.
The front wall first, it'll come with a top spin on it. And that's a lot of times the way people generally know which way the ball hit the front wall or the floor first. Danny had to rush it, though, to make sure that it didn't bounce twice. And as a result, he had to rely upon the referee making the call in his favor.
Oh, nice shot. Slide out.
Roger made a nice scoop. Dug that ball right out. Very low shot, but he got it
11,
back. Put
serving
it back
14.
in the corner. Got him back in the service box. Because you don't get any points unless you're serving, so that's where you want to be.
Shot.
There's a shot you don't see very often. Left hand fist drive. And watch what he does with it.
14, serving 11.
See how low that ball hit? Bounced twice before it even hit the 15-foot line. What a shot. There he cuts off. Shot keeps himself in the front court, but he's forced into the back. Roger makes another nice scoop. And Roger pushed away for a winner.
Once again, Roger's looking for that re-kill opportunity, that chance to basically take a high percentage shot when Danny makes a mistake.
11, serving 14.
Danny, on the other hand, has been very effective and high percentage on shots that normally would not be considered high percentage shots.
And Roger took a lot of pace off that last shot. It just kind of shoveled into the corner.
It's a very tough shot.
To the back wall.
Oh, there was a volley. Yes.
Another one of those underhand kind of Irish whip motion. Bang.
And you notice when he hits it that way, it also has a little extra spin on it as it hits the front wall. That's that volley for the longest time there looked like Roger had it under control, and then Danny makes a shot like that and changes the whole complexion of the volley, and who knows, maybe if he keeps making shots like that, the complexion of this match.
If he continues to hit those consistently, that could make a big difference in this match. It's a very effective shot. And one of the reasons why it's so effective is most people don't hit it. Not a shot that Roger sees every day.
Point.
That was a very smart volley on Danny's part. He drove Roger to the left and then shot it to the right.
Right.
15, serving 11.
Set up for Roger. And he managed to dig it.
Good shot. Slide out.
And Roger took some pace off that ball, kept it in the front court, and Danny was in behind the short line.
11, serving 15.
Barry serves 11-15.
Football.
And gets called for football.
At this point, Jim, what do you think? Would you try to somehow change the play? Roger seems to be continuing playing the way he's played the whole match, and certainly the momentum has shifted completely to Carillo.
Well, one of Roger's strengths is his consistency. I'm afraid if he tried to change too much, it would pull him out of his game. He's one of the steadiest players around.
15, serves 11.
Danny, on the other hand, he's switching his serves up occasionally.
No, you're going the wrong way. You went the wrong way first.
There, Danny was looking for a hinder.
No, sorry.
The referee's not going to give it to him now.
You'll watch this. Is pretty much at the discretion of the referee what he sees.
Sorry.
He can call interference.
11, 15.
And of course, Danny wants that call. Jack Prather, referee, doesn't give it to him.
I think it was a good call, though, watching again.
Oh, he took all the pace off that one just about. Rogers looking very confused.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
How did he hit that ball?
Okay.
Danny's still arguing about the call from 2 points ago.
You'd think he'd be happy with the
15
shot he
serves
just
11.
hit.
Exactly. Move on. You don't want to lose your concentration on the game by worrying about the referee. Everybody's going to get a bad call every once in a while.
Second timeout, Roger.
That's Rogers' second
1 minute.
timeout. And
11 serving 15.
I wouldn't think he'd call a timeout right now.
yeah, I think he's got Danny. Danny's seems to be focused more on that Hinder call than he was on the match. Might be a good time to try to get a few quick points.
Exactly.
But Roger only has 3 timeouts, and Roger only has 11 points. He might be wishing he had that timeout later in this match or in this game.
It's entertainment. Oh, especially with me, right?
Danny having a little fun with the crowd. If you watched the earlier match, David Steinberg sitting there watching this match. David, of course, won the previous match. There's Vern Roberts. Vern's a Cincinnati hometown boy. He's brother of Jack, and my co-announcer.
Come on, John.
Vern now lives in Tucson, where he is the executive
15
director of the
seconds.
United States Handball Association. Roberts are quite a local tradition family in Cincinnati, and Danny's still talking about the call, I think.
Well, maybe Roger will get that timeout to work for him in Dudley. Sometimes some players right now would try to change up the speed, maybe to do a lob serve or a 3-ball serve, try to do something different. Let's see if Roger though hasn't shown that. He'll might go back to that straight drive serve.
11 serving 15.
11 serves 15. Rogers back in the service box. Had to drive that right over Rogers' shoulder, and he turned it into a winner. A lot of people would appeal that call to a referee, having to shoot right over another player.
15
and he
serves
didn't
11.
want that. 15-11. Ball slid a little bit on the serve.
Replay.
And there was contact on that one. That was pretty obvious.
That's the other way.
15-11.
The other way you'll see hinders often is not just from when it hits the player, but when they make contact and get in each other's way.
That's a point.
And Danny right there actually, it was an interesting
16-11.
example where he shot the ball with his right hand
Short
right down
ball.
the right wall. It essentially had, if it came up high enough, it might have been a hinder. And
Second
if it
serve.
didn't, he gets the point. Danny's a smart player.
Roger got a crack on that ball, but Danny dug it out of the crack.
Replay.
And the referee calls a replay.
There's another example of
Sorry,
Danny
Roger.
playing the ball across his body. Except if he gets lucky and gets a crack,
16-11.
in order to get the point, otherwise then he's running the risk of just getting a hinder, getting to serve again, and certainly with his serve, it's not going to complain about that.
Oh, and Danny misses a back wall setup. Both players about even. Been 3 or 4, 5 points apart for
11 serving
about
16.
2/3 of this game now. Carillo was down early, but he's managed to bring it back, take a lead, and keep it.
Contact. Thank you.
And again, contact between the players. Stop the play.
Yeah, it's when somebody doesn't turn around.
It's only a 20-foot by 40-foot surface area, so their players are playing close to each other
11,
quite
16.
a number of times.
I was just going to mention, Jim, I think it seems like they're playing a little closer now than they were earlier in the match.
Aren't quite as many deep defensive shots. There's a contact there that, at least it looks like from my camera angle. if there's any controversy after that.
Side out.
Looks like Danny's putting back the referee saying good, no call.
That's exactly correct. A lot of times when you're that close to your opponent, you've actually got them in a good position.
16-11.
Side wall, front wall. Keeps the ball very close to the front wall. You've got to be very quick and very cat-like to pick up a ball like that. Roger almost got to it. Side wall, front wall, and it doesn't come out very far.
And you notice there, Danny calls for the towel to wipe up the court again, trying to avoid any sort of slippage either on the ball or if one of the players sometimes can even sprain their ankles or get hurt if they step on a wet spot. But I think Danny also has another reason for doing that is as long as he can keep slowing the game down so that he gets to shoot, gets a few breaths in between, I think it's going to be to his benefit. Roger, on the other hand, seems to be wanting to continue to play almost a war of attrition with Danny trying to keep driving the ball, hoping that he can wear him down.
Okay.
Players have been playing. This is the fourth day that they've been here, so they've been through matches before. They are going to feel some fatigue. Both in great shape, but it's a tough game. Players hitting defensive shots, trying to pass, but content to keep the ball in play. Waiting for an opportunity like that. Actually, that was as much luck with the crack as it was opportunity.
Yeah, but as long as Danny's playing aggressively and he's getting those cracks, it's going to be hard for Roger to basically wear him down.
18-11 now. Roger hasn't scored a point in quite a while. But he gets back into the service box with that shot. Managed just to put it in the corner and keep it down.
11-18.
Actually doesn't feel like it, but actually Danny's now outscored Roger 15-1 in the last 16 points that have been scored.
Go. Point.
Once again, Danny goes for a not particularly high percentage shot, but that's just his style.
12 serving 18. Point.
Roger puts a serve in the left-hand corner. Again, the glass may be a factor.
It looked like Danny there in the last two shots is when you're living by shooting high, low percentage shots, sometimes you pay for that.
Roger gets called for another football.
Second serve. Point.
And he gets the advantage of a crack on that serve. And Danny calls for timeout.
Timeout. Danny, at your second. 14-18. Your second.
Of course, as mentioned before, each player gets 3 timeouts per game. And Danny certainly wants to keep track of that.
Jack, the serve is so important in handball. The only opportunity you get where you have complete control over what happens with the ball. Any other time, your opponent's there, you can hit it left or right, hop it left or right, go to the ceiling, drive, kill shot. That when you're serving, you have the advantage. And that's why they keep you in that 5-foot box there. And that's why foot faults are so important.
It certainly can be the key to the game. First off, not only can you decide which side of the court, which speed to start, you can actually control, in a sense, the way the volley begins is whether the volley's played high or low, whether it's played aggressively or slow. It's certainly the biggest advantage you have in this game, and that's why probably the second most important shot after the serve is the return to serve.
Quite typically, the return of serve will be a defensive shot, quite often a ceiling shot. Gives you time as a defensive player on return of service to get into the service zone where you've got some control over the game.
Yeah, I think essentially just offset the fact of the huge advantage the server has. If Roger can get a couple more cracks here, I think it'll be interesting to see how Danny responds.
Okay.
Play is about to resume.
Time is in. Roger serving 14-18.
14-18. Danny's still got a 4-point lead. Game's
Football.
at 21. And Roger got called for another football.
How many footballs do you think that
Second
is at
serve.
this point?
I think that's about 6. 4 or 5 for Roger and 1 for Carillo.
Point.
And Roger gets another crack serve. So he's got a couple of crack serves going, a little momentum.
15-18.
Maybe he knows something about that drive serve that,
And another
Point.
crack, this time to the left-hand side.
once again, that's such a huge advantage because instead of these long volleys where
16
he's
serving
trying to
18.
wear down his opponent, he gets a free point essentially.
This time he goes back to the
good.
right
Point.
and gets another point, another ace. So that's the last 4 points have been 4 aces.
I think Danny might be questioning whether that ball was over the service
17
line.
serving
That
18.
second red line where on the right-hand side there.
Turns to the left-hand side, doesn't get a crack this time, so we're volleying. Oh,
It was close.
That actually can't hurt. The ball's quite a bit heavier and harder than, for example, a racquetball.
and Danny's got a full swing on that one.
I think, as the saying
you're
goes,
okay
that's
with
going to leave a mark.
Yeah. Okay, change them.
And
2
we're
minutes.
into another glove change.
Yeah, that's another type of timeout. Roger,
See both players perspiring heavily. This is a hard game.
the Roger with the service that he had going there for a while, it's wonder whether you might want to keep up there and try to run the rest of this game out. But Roger, of course, has always been a very strong, steady player, and I think he's comfortable playing this either way. Danny, on the other hand, is usually much more of a streak player and probably wants to get back on the serve and finish this game out himself.
Again, though, when you've got momentum, you really don't want to give it away. Yeah,
I like the classics.
I'm also questioning Roger's intentions on these timeouts.
Great. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much.
There's the mark. But,
It did leave a mark.
But you're having something next year.
And it hurts every bit as much as it looks.
Haven't nailed it down yet.
and for the people who don't know the game, eye protection is required, and that's exactly why. You can imagine the spot that left on his Barry's back, but if you would get hit anywhere around the eye, you could do some serious damage. So eye guards are required. That rule is enforced, and it's the best rule going.
Yeah, I did the first game. And I did the first game.
There he got hit with the ball 3 times in a row.
Each time on the same spot. Looks like Dan's putting on a second shirt.
Yeah, both players are taking quite a lot of time on these timeouts. They're supposed to be timed to either 1 minute for a regular timeout, 2 minutes for a glove change. These guys are going to stretch this out. And again, they've been doing this for 3 or 4 days now, so it takes its toll.
Yeah, Roger's taking his time putting his second glove on here, and I think he's trying to get himself determined to return to that drive serve that he had some really recent success with. In the meantime, I think Danny's just trying to make sure he's got his totally second wind ready to basically return that serve and get back in the service box.
Jack Prater, the referee, is trying to get these guys back into service position, encouraging them to get their gloves on, get back to play. Players content to stretch it out a little bit longer.
And I'm sure Danny's going to hit one more. He doesn't want to start the volley with the ball hitting the floor first. Now he's ready. Back
Okay,
to
here we
play.
go. Roger serving 17.
Roger closing in, 17 to 18.
17 serving 18.
Rio was ahead, I believe, 18 to 12 at one point. So Roger's making quite a comeback here.
Slide out.
Rio kills.
Roger had an opportunity earlier in that volley on a second or third shot to drop the ball left, and instead he
serving
left
17.
it high enough for Danny to get back in the volley and ended up paying for it.
Point.
Again, kill shot for Carillo. That's when he makes his points.
Yeah, I think that timeout actually benefited
19 serving
Danny
17.
Carillo much more than did Roger Berry.
Point.
And another one. Again, both hands, both corners.
Game point
This guy's
serving
got a
17.
lot of kill shots. He's never shy to use them. Roger digs that one out, but
Point.
Rio
Game
manages
5
passing
minutes.
for the 21st point.
And there, as you mentioned, when Roger called his timeout, Danny came out and got himself collected, came back in, made his kill shots, and it was only a short matter of time until the game was over.
Here's Danny on that 21st point.
Yeah, Roger makes this
Roger
get,
gets it.
but not the next
But-
one.
Then he opens up the court. Danny puts it away. That's the end of game one. We'll be returning in a couple of minutes for game two.
Sweetie. Why don't you go play with those kids over there?
Why?
Imagine the power of one voice. Click freedomcenter.org to find yours.
Who is Waycross Community Media? Waycross provides public, educational, and government access to the communities and its residents of Forest Park, Green Hills, and Springfield Township. Programs shown on Waycross are produced, directed, announced, and run by people just like you. To get involved, call Waycross Community Media at 825-2429 or check us out on the web at www.waycross.org.
I can hear it. And we're back to game two. 50-plus singles at the United States Handball Association National Master Singles, held at Waycross, the athletic club at Waycross. Roger Berry serves this game, starts out, and Danny misses a fairly easy return. Slow start for Danny.
Danny started slow the first game, too, but was able to turn it around.
Replay.
It's going to be a replay again. Players too close to safely take a swing.
1-0.
And Danny kind of, again, drove that ball down the right across his body.
It's going to be a back wall shot for Roger. And again, a
Side out.
drive pass gets Danny Carillo back into the service box.
0 serves
Roger
1.
left that ball open there, and gave Danny an opportunity, and he took it.
Side out.
Interesting to see how Roger, if he changes his
1-0.
pace at all this game, but so far Roger's playing steady like Roger always does.
Be a back wall opportunity for Carillo. Not able to do much with it.
Once again, Carillo kind of drives that ball down the right wall against his body.
Side point.
Roger made a miraculous shot down the left-hand side. Ball just slid right on the wall. Danny can't get a hand on it. So close to the wall.
2 serving 0.
And Danny did have position on the court.
Football.
It's another foot fault for Roger. It takes away his first serve, and it can get to be, actually the player can actually start to get in his head. He starts to wonder what he has to do to make sure he doesn't get a fault on that first serve.
Point.
Danny, once again, with his aggressive style, tries to shoot right in front of Roger, and Roger does the rekill.
3-0.
Danny really wasn't in the position to take an offensive shot, but took it anyway and paid the price.
Point.
Here's a shot we haven't seen so far today. He's trying to use the back wall and bounce it off of the back wall directly onto the front wall. That's a desperation shot.
As long as the ball hits the front wall before it hits the floor, it doesn't matter how you get it there. Once you're in the volley. And of course, Danny could have made that return, but normally that's the setup for his opponent, and that's why it's almost never done except in desperation.
And Roger is punished again.
I think Roger that will leave another mark on Roger. Roger doesn't seem to mind at the moment, though. I think he's concentrating on trying to turn this match around.
He's got a 4-0 lead, and he doesn't want to lose concentration. Especially now that he's down 1 game.
Short ball.
Roger had a short serve, second serve.
Short.
Oh, he shorts that ball also. That's the first double fault we've seen.
That's the type of
0-4
mistake you don't see at this level very often.
And especially not from a smart player like Barry.
Replay.
Very rarely does anything that's not safe. This game is play steady, play smart.
0-4.
Play high percentage.
Short ball.
And Danny once again used his body there on that last play. Basically, he shoots it across his body, and either
second serve.
The best thing Roger can do is maybe get a hinder, which is what he got there. Danny doesn't roll the ball out. Great return from Roger on that last play.
Side out. 4 serving 0. Point.
And Roger got a crack on that serve.
Roger seems to be serving better since about the middle of the first game.
5 serving 0.
Managed to keep Carillo scoreless so far this game.
Okay.
There was contact on that, but not enough for a
0 serving
call.
5.
Roger graciously doesn't even question.
Point.
There's one Roger probably wishes he had back, although it does get tough on that angle as it approaches the side wall. And Danny, I believe that's
first point this game. Now 1-5.
1-5.
Barry makes a miraculous dig.
Point.
But again, Carillo goes for the kill shot 2 shots later and puts it down.
And Danny made a nice return there.
2 serving
ball,
5.
and then they were able to get a shot and made Roger play again.
And he goes for a defensive shot this time. Both players, nope. Thought both players would be content to go to the ceiling.
There's an example where that ball come out off the front wall, and you could tell that it was a good shot. It hit the front wall first based upon its spin, and its top spin as it came off.
3 serving 5.
And again, Danny's always seems to be going for the kill any chance he gets.
Point.
Sidewall, front wall. From over on the left-hand side, that's a difficult shot.
Difficult shot, but in that case, actually, it was a high percentage shot because he had Roger in a position where it's going to be hard for him to catch up to that if he hit the sidewall first, which he did. This is dangerous. A great shot by Danny there.
Took all the pace off that ball. That's not where Roger wants Danny to be, and that's certainly not where he wants to be in a shot like this. Great dig.
Great gets by both players.
2 great digs.
Great gets by both players, but Roger had the last say on that one. And Danny, of course, having dove on the floor twice there, he wants to both wipe up the wet spot and catch his breath. I think, Jim, that says something about the sportsmanship of this game. After they both dove all over the floor and competing as they are, they're still joking with each other as they continue on the match.
Serving 5.
After falling behind, Carillo's managed to tie it up. Barry serving. Oh, and again, that's questionable. Roger should have been moving out of the way of that shot.
Replay.
Okay, there are 2 types of hinders. There's the hinder where you do a replay, which is what that call was made. But occasionally,
serving 5.
if they feel that the hinder actually was avoidable, that the player could have given him an opportunity to make a shot, they'll call avoidable hinder and actually give the volley to the other player, give the point to the player who was hitting the ball at the time.
Yeah, it's actually the responsibility of the defensive player to get out of the way of a shot, especially on a shot like that. Roger had time to make a move and didn't.
Point.
And Roger uses the sidewall.
Serving 5.
Scores 7-5. This is the over 50 age group. We have other age groups.
But sometimes the great gets don't do you much good if you bring it right back to your opponent. And Danny again ran him a little bit and then put the ball in the corner.
5 serving 7.
Danny with that underhand whip shot.
Very nice ceiling ball by Danny there. If you're having a 5-0 deficit, he's come back to be only down by 2. Roger gets the serve back at 7-5.
Serving 5.
We were able to see some of the hop on the ball in that last shot. Ball hits the floor and then just jumps a little bit. Players put that spin on the ball, depending on how they stroke through it, just underneath or over the top of the ball.
Roger, I think, is going over that ball to give it a little bit of what's called a reverse English. And do that usually for 2 reasons. One is because it sometimes fools your opponent. The other is that sometimes you can actually place the ball better. Interestingly, Roger on that last shot, he made a nice get, but he left the ball up again where Danny can basically put it away another time.
5-7.
An example of Carillo's speed on that one. A lot of players wouldn't have got to the first one, much less the second one.
Nope. Side out.
Side out. Barry's back in.
This might be a crucial part of the second game. Roger, they've been playing back and forth with the 7 serves 5 to 5 versus 7. Somebody might break out here and actually get some momentum going.
7-5.
And he punches it up to the ceiling. Defensive shot. Moves in for the kill and does it. Makes the kill, just not good enough.
Nice shot. Point.
Roger with a fish shot to the corner. Manages to bury that ball.
That's the kind of volleys I think Roger would like to play.
8 serving 5.
Runs Danny around a little bit and then finishes it with Danny in the backcourt. Roger on the second
Replay.
There's another case where players just got too close. Safely take a swing at the ball.
Once again, though, Danny tried to shoot that ball from 30 feet back with Roger standing right at the short line in front of him. And Roger didn't make him pay. You can see on the replay.
8-5.
Roger hit it right back and high enough that Danny was able to get a hinder.
Point.
Roger continues to play steady and he's built up a 9-5
All 3.
lead.
You are 1.
Looks like Korea is going to
First
call
timeout,
for a
1 minute.
timeout. Needs a little breather.
Let me see everybody's gloves.
Referee is looking for a glove check. Make sure all the gloves are dry. And Roger's going to stay on the court through this timeout, looks like.
Yeah, I think Roger, after that timeout, he called it towards the latter part of the first game and realized he lost his momentum. I think he's not going to do that again. He's going to stay on the court, keep himself pumped up, and basically try to get Danny back on the court as soon as possible so he can continue on with this 9-5 lead and maybe broaden the distance.
Part of the laundry explosion you often see at handball tournaments. You get 40, 50, or 130 people with that much clothing and create quite a scene.
It'll be interesting to see how many pairs of gloves they go through if this match continues on the way it has been.
Okay.
Looks like Danny's back in and Roger's ready to start it up again.
Of course, Roger didn't walk off the court. He stayed there.
Roger's
trying
in.
to keep his concentration.
9
Guess he
serving
didn't
5.
feel like he needed a break, needed a drink, needed to sit down. He wants to keep going.
Replay. Sorry.
And again,
Sorry, Roger.
this time it was Carillo who was in a spot where he really shouldn't have been. Roger wants the call, doesn't get it, just like Carillo wanted the call earlier.
Yeah, Roger's saying we're going to make a blank slate here now, and we're even. Roger wanted to put that ball away and thought he should have gotten the shot.
You saw that ball hop. And again, left hand, cross court, sidewall, front wall. That's just a very, very difficult to even dig for somebody even as good a digger as Roger is.
Danny's using the angles, and of course now, once again, every time he sees Roger go down, he's probably down for one of those dives. He's probably going to call a wipe up the floor and get a little bit extra breather. He knows he might be in for a long haul in this game, and maybe even this match, and I think he's going to try to retain as much energy as he can. Roger probably wants to get going as quickly as possible. That's why Roger's the one who's actually wiping up the court.
Both of these players had relatively difficult matches yesterday. Carillo playing Bob Lohmiller out of Cincinnati. And Roger Berry's match was also tough.
You notice how around the service box there, since they've been, that's one of the places where the players always return to. They tends to get
Danny serving.
develop some more of the drops.
5 serving 9.
5-9.
No crack on the serve.
No, it was short.
Roger recovers nicely, and Danny had an offensive opportunity that he missed. Roger trying to talk himself
9
into
serving 5.
staying focused.
Point.
It looks like Roger tends to be, when he serves to the right, he comes over the ball with that reverse English to make the ball
10
break to the
serving
right.
5.
When he serves to the left, he goes underneath the ball to make it break to the left.
That was down, side out.
Again, Danny does that shot to the right, across his body.
Making sure the ball's dry, letting Roger take a good look, dry it off.
And you can see Danny's catching his
5
breath at the
serving
same
10.
time.
It's 5-10. Roger's got a fairly comfortable lead if he can just keep it going. It's going to be a back wall opportunity. And Carillo makes him pay.
Point.
That was a nice stroke and a great shot. Even with Roger standing in front, he didn't hesitate to roll it right out in front of him.
6 serving 10.
This ball is very low.
Point.
And a corner kill again. So Danny's starting to pick up the pace a little bit. As long as he can stay in front,
7
control
serving
that
10.
front court, he can make some points.
With their differing styles, it seems like the momentum of this match can change pretty quickly.
Point.
Danny's now back at 8-10, and he's already kind of pretty much back in this game.
Eight serving 10.
Now that was a serve where Danny
Point.
came way over the top of the ball and caught a huge, again, reverse English, but when you serve it, when you're hitting the ball with your left
9
hand, it
serving
actually
10.
breaks to the left. Straighten that serve out, and Roger couldn't figure it out.
Danny with offensive shot after offensive shot.
Point.
Roger trying to keep the ball in play.
Yeah, Roger there basically had to give Danny a lot of room as he moved
10
to the left
serving
and left
10.
the whole right side of the court open for Danny to finish the ball. It's that tough.
Side out.
It's that glass back wall. There, got some very funny bounces, and even if you don't get a funny
10
bounce,
serving
it's tough
10.
to see off that back. Roger got a little bit of a crack on that serve. There again, Danny went for an offensive shot when he was in a very defensive position.
11 serving 10.
Gives Roger the lead.
Another good serve from Roger.
Point.
Oh, and Roger gets a crack on that pass shot.
Yeah, Roger likes to keep driving the ball, and again keep Danny having to move.
12
Trying to use
serving
his
10.
conditioning. 12-10 Roger.
Roger gets an ace on that serve. Too close to the wall for Carillo to do much with it.
Yeah, Roger,
13 serves 10.
Roger's using his serve very effectively this game.
Point.
And that'll be another point.
And again, Rogers switched it up. He got a couple points on the right, and then he went to the left. And in doing so, he came over the ball again to basically make it die in that
14
left
serves
corner.
10.
Again, we're at the Athletic Club at Waycross, USHA National Masters Tournament, handball tournament.
This is the finals of the over 50 division.
10 serving 14.
And Carillo establishing center court position.
Point.
Trying to stay there.
Notice how they keep trying to move each other back and forth, right to left.
11-14. Short ball.
That was a short, and also if it hadn't been a short, they probably would have called that a screen.
Second
which
serve.
is, again, it doesn't give enough room between the server and the ball to make it visible to the returning player.
Rio gets a back wall shot, but again here at Waycross, it's on these courts, the back walls are pretty tough.
Oh, there's a circumstance where Roger left the ball in the left front court, and Danny had an opportunity just to end the volley. This game's tightening up, and Danny's going to take a break here to wipe the floor up and also catch his breath.
Yeah. All of our games are going to be better. We know what we want to do.
And these players have been at this for a few days, so fatigue is definitely a factor for both of them. So they tend to stretch out these timeouts, add a little bit. Some of the crowd here at Athletic Club at Waycross.
At this point, it looks like Danny's going to try to make a full-out effort to take this second game and finish the match.
12-14. Point.
Excellent pass shots, just stayed off the wall. Didn't give Roger a chance to get to it.
13-14.
These matches are played. The first two games are 21. If they split the first two games, the final game is to 11.
Rio with a very athletic move. But
Okay, 2 minutes, glove change.
now we're looking for some more.
Rogers serving, 14-13.
Go through some more laundry now.
Yeah, I think that if Roger was able to pull out this second game, the closeness of this match and how Danny's playing at this point may actually be to Roger's benefit, because it might totally gas Danny out for that tiebreaker if they got there.
One of the camera operators here, and we'd like to take an opportunity to thank Waycross Community Media for bringing all the equipment, bringing all the crew out to our handball tournament. It's quite a privilege for us to be able to bring these games to you. Again, you're at the finals of the United States Handball Association National Masters Championship. This is the 50-plus division. There are other divisions going on even as we speak. And one of our local players, Mr. Ralph Weil, has become the national champion in the 75-plus division. So if you know Ralph or see Ralph wandering around the streets, tell him congratulations. It's quite a feat. It's a feat just to be playing at the age of 75, much less be the national champion. We have players here from playing in an 85-plus division. So this is a game you can play for life.
And I think we're seeing that, just the quality of this play today between two gentlemen who are over 50 years old.
Ralph was getting some pretty good serves, but Ralph was actually playing smart ball. It wasn't taking stupid.
Well, we've got
I hate to say it.
obviously a player here from California versus a player from the Far East Coast, Maryland.
I always told Ralph.
Although where Danny picked up the Yale shirt, we'll have to find out later.
And he always he does this all the time. Side wall, front wall.
Again, players taking as much time as they can, getting as much wind as they can, giving the muscles a rest. Looks like we're about ready to resume play. Roger's back on the court, waiting for Carillo.
Roger's certainly ready to try to press the play here now, try to fatigue Carillo a little bit further. I think Danny's looking forward to getting into court and making a few offensive shots and try to put himself back into control.
Carillo did win the first game, so it's imperative for Barry to keep his lead. Otherwise, he's done.
Done for the match, done for the tournament, done for the championship. Danny, on the other hand, of course, he's going to hit another one of those balls until he makes sure that one actually
Roger is serving.
It's a shot he wants to hit next.
14-13.
Play resuming. Barry serve. Got a 1-point advantage.
It's a tough ball when it gets back in that glass wall, and Danny was able to force Roger back one more time.
I think he fooled him a little bit on that shot. Roger was leaning left, and Danny went right.
13-14.
Roger managed to get a hand on it, but not enough. Again, that was a ball a lot of players will let go to the back wall. Carillo cuts it off. Tries to stay in that service box, stay in an offensive shooting position.
And I'm sure Danny had everything he wanted there except to finish the volley.
13.
I'm sure wish he had that shot back.
Roger continuing to drive serve down the right. This will be a back wall shot for Danny.
Yeah, Danny's starting to take the offensive here in this volley, and
Side out.
looks like he's going to try to grab that momentum.
A little help from the sidewall, I think. on that shot.
13-14.
Actually, Danny was claiming it was thinking man's play.
Barry able to get Danny out of that front court for a couple of shots, but he's back there again. Again, the pace is so fast. Roger's having a hard time getting a good, solid hand on the ball.
Great volley, though. That's the kind of volleys that Roger probably would like to see, and Danny, I don't think he wants to face too many more like that one. Of course, the last play where the ball came soft off the back wall was very difficult with this glass.
Barry keeps his 1-point lead. Carillo drives. Barry digs. It's kind of the story of this match. Oh, Danny missed that one.
Point.
Do you think this could be a sign of some fatigue on Danny's part, or is it
I
just...
think so. I think his legs are looking a little bit tired. Of course, you've got to have legs to drive through that ball.
It's one of the misconceptions. People realize you actually hit the ball more so with your leg and your footwork than you do with your arms.
There's a close play. That could have been called, but ends up being a hinder ball anyway. Danny doesn't look happy with that particular volley.
I would want it too. Hell yeah.
The score, Roger up 15-13.
15-13.
Danny's going to have to try to end this quicker. Seems the pace has gone back to Rogers.
There again, Roger digs out another kill shot. And another one.
Yeah. Roger keeps hanging in there to try to get an opportunity for an offensive shot. And
there's a case where Roger just wore him down with defense, kept getting all of the shots back. Frustrating Danny. He's trying harder and harder with every kill shot.
Second timeout, 1 minute.
Finally tries too hard.
16-13.
it's kind of like the old rope-a-dope to the boxer. Roger kept counter-punching, keeping the ball in play, and Danny got frustrated and wanted to finally finish the volley and made a poor choice of shots.
And then he rewarded himself with a timeout so he can come out, think about it, just to make sure he doesn't make that same kind of mistake again. There's Vern Roberts.
Now the Gatorade's not good enough to drink.
It's part of the last volley, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to see here, I think, Rogers keeps digging and digging and digging. Danny has
Danny
chances.
shoots.
20 seconds.
Roger gets it back. Shoots again. Roger manages to dig that out. Another opportunity. Dug out.
This can be so frustrating for a player who's trying to finish the volley, and Roger just keeps driving the ball back and back until finally Danny wants to try to finish the volley, and his legs aren't there any longer.
That's right. Probably at the beginning of the match, he would have made that shot.
Roger is serving.
Okay, Barry's back in the service
16-13.
Got a 3-point lead. Again, it's critical that he keep this lead. Force this match into a tiebreaker. It's an ace serve on that one.
17-13. Danny might want to be careful here about spending too much energy.
17-13.
So you think you ought to just play this one out and go for the 11-point tiebreaker?
I think at this point, he might want to make sure that he doesn't let Roger run around the park again.
I think that was a bounce, side out.
Because if Roger just starts driving the ball, Danny may want to try to shoot sooner and either try to finish the volley
13-17.
or save his energy for the last game.
So this is going to be a critical interchange. We'll see how Danny plays it.
Yeah, Danny makes a couple shots.
Oh.
Would have made it? Okay. I couldn't tell.
That was very good sportsmanship.
We will
on Roger's
replay.
part.
Thank you.
The ball, if it doesn't look like it's going to make the front
13-17.
wall, it's not called a hinder, no.
And that ball was clearly not headed to the front wall. But again, it's the discretion of the referee to make the call. Players can overrule a referee, but only the player who would be at the disadvantage of that call. So Danny could have said, no, that ball wouldn't have made it. But he chose not to.
17 serving 13.
Roger Berry back in the service box. And right.
Point.
Yeah, I think Danny's not going to put a lot of energy into the latter part of the
I
game.
think it was a point.
Danny's
I'm
looking
going to call
for
a point.
bad bounce call.
I thought it was part of his hop. I'm going to call it a point.
Court door.
Sorry, Danny.
Court door is right back in that corner, and quite often there are additional seams because of the door hardware. Sometimes you get a bad bounce. That's what Danny was looking for. Referee didn't see it. Play goes
Replay.
on. Roger Berry got hit with that shot.
I don't know what to do.
We'll replay that point.
18-13.
Berry with a 5-point, fairly comfortable lead at this point. Looking to send this match into a tiebreaker situation. Tiebreakers are games to 11.
Point.
You notice even though Roger has the lead here, he continues to work Danny around the court a little bit and try to continue to tire him.
Roger puts that ball down.
19-13.
19-13, 2 points away from a tiebreaker.
Point.
Oh,
nice
and Roger
recovery
uses
by
a
Roger.
corner kill.
Although it was a poor return by Danny because of the way it came out of that corner, it was going to be difficult to figure out whether it was going to go with the wall or away from the wall, and Roger guessed
Game
right
point,
and
serving 13.
finished the volley.
All right, game point. Danny pretty content to
5 minutes.
finish this one out, go to the tiebreaker. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes for an 11-point tiebreaker.
For the championship.
be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Like a plague, poverty infects half the world's people. It's a ruthless killer, striking down men and women in the prime of life, claiming children who are defenseless against its wrath. But there is a cure for poverty, and it's in your hands. Through CARE, you can help people in the world's poorest communities fight for their lives and make a complete and permanent recovery. CARE overcomes poverty through agriculture, education, healthcare, small business, and more. Remedies that work together, helping poor people target the source of the problem, not just the symptoms. And that's a cure that can last a lifetime. To learn more, call 1-800-521-CARE or log on to care.org. CARE, where the end of poverty begins.
And we're back for the tiebreaker of the 50 division. The Athletic Club at Waycross, where we're holding the United States Handball Association National Masters Championship. My name is Jim Kraler. I'm here with Jack Roberts.
Okay.
Now for the 11-point tiebreaker for the championship.
All right, Roger.
It looks like Roger gets the serve. Whoever has the most points in the game that they lost gets the serve, and Roger had more points.
Let's get it on.
Players are limited to 2 timeouts in this 11-point game.
0, serving 0.
And these first couple of points are going to be critical.
They often can set, sometimes even though the players play even through the first 2 games, sometimes the tiebreaker can go very fast.
0, serving 0.
One player gets very, very hot.
Side out.
And side out. Carillo's in. Roger got a little bit of an unfortunate bounce on that one ball that brought it up to Danny's right.
0, serving 0.
A couple points later, Danny finished it off to the right.
It seems like Danny's playing with more energy right now than he had at the end of that second game. Of course, at this point, Danny knows there's not much left for him to do, but I'd put it all into this one last 11-point game.
0, 0.
And service back to Roger. Roger again continuing that drive serve down to the right. He's hit most of his serves there.
Side out.
Went for the side wall, front wall, but didn't manage to get the front wall that time.
0, serving 0.
Carillo's back in. We're trading serves. Game still scoreless. And he scoops the ball at his feet. Defensive return over the shoulder. Roger takes what looks like a lazy shot and turns it into a winner.
That's pretty uncharacteristic for Roger.
0, 0.
To put the ball away like that, but I think he's counting on Danny's fatigue at this point.
And Roger serves, drive right. Danny takes it to the ceiling. Takes it to the ceiling again. Trying to get into a position, get into a shot that he can drive. He does want to drive the ball. Roger content to keep the ball in play. And he uses the back wall. This one does make it to the front wall. And this ball's off the back wall. It's a long volley with a lot of very odd shots in it, and an odd shot finish.
Sometimes it's that those balls come so far off the back wall, like that one with Roger, that actually it's a difficult shot. Because you have to watch out for your follow-through to actually make sure you don't make contact with the front wall on your follow-through.
And you're kind of stuck in the front of the court where you don't want to be.
And trapped, and Danny took advantage of it.
Carillo goes to the ceiling.
Play so far seems like it's more to Roger's style than Danny's style.
Absolutely correct. Ceiling shots, defense shots. We've seen a lot of shooting. Here's an opportunity. Doesn't do a lot with it. Another opportunity. This time he passes to the left-hand side.
And we finally have a point scored in this tiebreaker.
So Danny Carillo gets the first point.
But Danny's already looking like he wants to catch his breath.
1, serving 0.
Oh. Danny misses a back wall shot. Again, the glass back walls are difficult.
0, serving 1.
Could have lost it momentarily.
Most players, the courts they play on an everyday basis don't have glass back walls, and sometimes the transition actually causes them difficulty even after they've played on these courts for 3 or 4 days.
1,
Barry
serving
manages
1.
to even the score. Roger has an offensive opportunity. Danny digs.
Point.
And another offensive shot ends the rally.
Roger again, very steady, doesn't take a lot of chances, drives the ball. Danny has to make
2, serving 1.
a few gets, and then he puts the ball away.
Barry's got a 1-point lead. Again, drive serve to the right. Nice pass. Took a lot of pace off the ball, so that didn't even get to the back wall.
At this point, Danny
3, serving 1.
That Danny Carillo should actually try to change the pace and start playing a little bit more offense if he can get the chance. Of course, Roger, the way he's playing, maybe Danny won't have that opportunity.
See that drive serve to the right, got some help from the crack. A little funny bounce.
Point.
And Roger pulls away with a 4-1 lead.
4, serving 1. No.
Oh, and Carillo went for a kill shot in a defensive position.
It was noticeable there that he didn't get his feet into proper pre-shoot position either. I think he realizes he's got to change this pretty quickly.
Another slide serve. Barry's painting that right side with serves.
Point.
Excellent pass shot. Roger goes up and over.
Timeout. 1.
And
1 minute. Roger
timeout.
leading 6-1.
I was just going to ask you, Jim, at this point, the way this game is going, if I were Danny Carillo and knowing that even though I only have 2 timeouts, now might be a good time to take one of them.
I think it is, especially since he's down. He's got to get Roger out of this zone that he's in.
Yeah, sometimes these tiebreakers get away from you pretty quickly.
I think he's running low on petrol, too.
You can tell Roger doesn't want to leave the court.
Yeah, neither player's left the court during this timeout. They're concentrating on staying in this game as much as possible, mentally and physically.
Okay.
Plays
Time is
resuming.
in.
Again, Barry
Roger
with a
serving
6-1 lead.
6-1.
In an 11-point game, he's halfway there.
Thank you.
Another good call by Roger Barry. That ball actually, if it hits you off the front wall before Essentially, I don't think the referee saw it, and Roger called it on himself and lost the volley.
Yeah, Roger was hit by his own shot. Not sure the referee saw it.
Point.
Oh, Carillo rolls that out.
Nice recovery again. That ball came around the corner, and it was going to be tough, and Carillo was able to roll it out in the corner.
2 serving 6.
Back wall set it. Another.
Roger continues to try to work Danny's right. Move him around the court.
Danny almost got hit by his own shot there.
Again, the footwork just a hair off there, and it's a game even of half inches at this point. Danny needed that volley.
6 serving 2.
Nice healing shot by Danny, but actually Roger was able to make a good shot in return.
By him. Point.
And Roger passes right by his body on the left-hand side. Referee decides Danny couldn't have got there no matter what.
Okay, hold on.
And the ball, it's a good call. The ball was by him.
Yeah, it's only hinder, actually, if it would have interfered with his play. And since he really didn't have a play for that ball, it won't be called as hinder. Danny, once again, taking his time. He doesn't want to waste that second last time out at this point, but he certainly wants to be able to recoup and try to turn this game around.
He's playing very steady at this point. He's got a decent lead, trying to keep it. Consistently drives the ball down the right-hand side.
Once again, the drive to the corner.
8.
Doesn't come out the way Danny thought it was going to come out. Roger did not go to the right-hand side, and that time he paid for it. Side out. Carillo serves, but he's down by a bunch.
And he's taking his time getting the ball. Player has 10 seconds, I believe, to be able to make his serve once the play is called.
2 serving 8.
Ball hit the back wall. Look how close Danny is to that front wall. Oh, and doesn't have the legs to get to that ball. Pass shot.
That's a tough shot.
It seems like some of the shots that Danny was putting away in the earlier part of the match, he's just bringing up a little too high.
And again, back wall corner shot.
Point.
Gives Carillo a lot of trouble. Barry's closing in on this match rather quickly. 9-2. Drive serve to the right. Ceiling shot. And Carillo has an offensive opportunity. Takes a side wall, front wall. Gets back into the server's box.
At 2-9, he really needs to
2 serving 9.
kick in something strong here. Tries to serve to the right. Roger drives him off the front court.
Again, there's some tired legs. Carillo would have gotten that shot easily.
9 serving 2.
Game. This game he's a step behind. Oh, and Roger makes an unforced error. That's unusual for him.
Very atypical for such a steady player
2
as
serves
Roger,
9.
but he's getting close to the point where this match might be.
He's down, he stopped. Point.
3 serves now. Carillo's got to make a run here.
3 serving 9.
Oh, and again, he just can't get to the ball.
Side out.
Yeah, he was just a step off. And again, this game, unlike the first two, that went to 21. This game only goes to 11. Roger needs 2 points for the championship.
9, serving 3. Point.
See the ball hop a little bit there. We're at championship point now. Roger Berry trying to finish out this 50-plus.
Match point, serving 3.
National Masters single.
Point.
Oh, an unforced error ends the game. Great match between Danny Carillo from San Bernardino, California, and Roger Berry, Rockville, Maryland. Roger Berry, this champion. Crowd very appreciative of the efforts that both players put in on that match.
Okay, yes, I will be there. Good game, Danny. Hey, Bill.
And from United States Handball Association National Masters in Cincinnati, Ohio.
First 4 for pictures and award presentation.
There's a replay of the last point. Roger Berry in the white, waiting patiently. Just keeping the ball in play, trying not to make a mistake. He's got a decent lead. And Carillo.
He is now Grand Master Champion. Congratulations.
There's Roger Berry. The announcement coming that this is his 10th national championship.
And with this championship, he has now 10 National Masters Championships and becomes known as a Grand Master.